This is the news at 11 on the ABC 10 Information Network. Thanks for being with us on your Thursday, August 10th. I am Dina Kupfer. We begin with a breaking story that all Sacramento Kings fans are talking about and continues to develop now. Veteran NBA star Zach Randolph, who recently signed with the Sacramento Kings, was arrested in Los Angeles last night for suspicion of marijuana possession with the intent to sell. Police came across a group of people who were drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana, and they say playing loud music near a housing project in Watts. Police say the crowd got rowdy when officers tried to clear it up. 5 police cars and a sheriff's car were vandalized. Randolph was arrested along with an armed ex-con. His bail was set at $20,000. TMZ, though, did post a picture of Randolph leaving jail after 8 o'clock this morning. You can see he's all smiles in that photo. The Sacramento Kings did issue a statement a couple of hours ago, and they say that they are aware of the situation. We will, of course, have updates throughout the day on abc10.com. All right, let's get a look at your forecast now. We've got meteorologist Rob Carlmark standing by outside. How's it feeling out there, friend?
You know, it still feels pretty good. I think the days where we wake up in the 70s and 80s with humidity, or it's just straight up starts to move into the 90s by this time, those days are over for the next couple of weeks at least. It gets more and more difficult deeper into the summer to get back to that. But with that said, I think the real big story is the cool down with the 80s coming in for next week. So we'll go ahead and show you a couple things going on. A current look at the temperatures is always a nice thing to do, especially when it looks like this, nice 70s. Upper 70s. Most people love this temperature right now. The problem is that it's going to get warmer than this, but you know what? Not too much. I really like where we're going. We're going to hit some low to mid 90s today, perhaps a little bit warmer tomorrow and the next. And then as we get over to the weekend, we're going to see some pretty solid changes. Now, just off the coast, where north of where that area of high pressure is, there's a big patch of cooler air. That's going to start to make a move, and it should be here by Sunday. Now, I'm not expecting rain with this. I think the cold air is certainly going to filter in, and that means we're going to see highs go from the 90s to the upper 80s, and most of your day will be spent in temperatures like we're experiencing right now. So this is going to be some good changes going into next week.
Yeah, certainly is. I'm looking forward to the cooler afternoons. All right, Rob, thank you. Sacramento police are investigating after 2 people were found dead inside of a South Sacramento home. Police were called to an address on Bonnie Mae Way yesterday. There isn't a lot of information that they have shared with us just yet, but officers did say it's too early to identify the victims because they haven't been able to talk to all of the family members yet. No word on the cause of death at this point, but officers say it appears the people did not die naturally. And also, it does look like it was an isolated incident. If you have any information, though, you should contact police. Now to rising tensions with North Korea. Overnight, the rogue regime responding to President Trump's tough talk, calling it a load of nonsense. The regime doubling down on threats to strike Guam now with medium to long-range ballistic missiles. ABC's Ariel Reshef is following the very latest developments from Washington, and that includes reaction from around the world this morning. Meantime, Vice President Mike Pence is meeting with President Trump at his golf club in Bedminster later today. It is now widely assumed that a North Korean intercontinental ballistic missile could reach not only Seattle in the Northwest, but as far east as Chicago. That means most of the continental U.S. and not just Alaska or Hawaii or the West could be vulnerable. Another big headline we're following now. 2 LGBT rights groups have filed a lawsuit against the federal government. They are challenging President Trump's tweets about banning transgender people from serving in the military. The lawsuit says that the ban is unconstitutional. The Pentagon has said transgender people can continue to serve since there is no policy yet. We will continue to follow up on this again. The lawsuit now moving forward. Well, high-tech shopping is already on your phone, and now one of the big box giants is getting in on all the digital action. 11:08 now. Little people from all over the world are in Canada right now competing in the World Dwarf Games. The games wrap up on Saturday of this weekend, but hardcore work and a lot of heart earned a 10-year-old Sacramento boy silver and bronze medals for the United States. ABC 10's John Bartel caught up with him before those games began. Maybe a mile. Love that high. Thank you, John Bartel, for that great story. All right, in our ABC 10 business headlines now, Google might be facing a lawsuit over gender discrimination. More than 60 women who are or were employees of the tech giant say that they might take legal action over alleged sexism and pay disparities with their male colleagues. This lawsuit follows Google's recent firing of that software engineer, James Damore, who wrote a manifesto suggesting that the reason there are fewer women than men in the tech world or in leadership roles is because of biological differences. And Walmart is bringing back the app that lets shoppers bypass the checkout line and pay for their purchases on their phones. It's called Scan and Go. They first tested this back in 2013, but then discontinued it because customers complained it was just too confusing. The app, though, has been redesigned. It's currently being tested at a couple of different stores in Houston and Orlando, also at the headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas. The test is now being expanded to stores in Dallas and could be coming right here to the West Coast very soon. All right, summer is not even over, but United Airlines is courting skiers like me by ramping up service at several of its hub cities to winter weather destinations. It's always on the top of my mind. Among the cities getting increased capacity or new flights this winter, Aspen, yes. Vail, yes. Crested Butte, Steamboat Springs in Colorado, sure. Reno, Nevada, my hometown, okay. Also, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. United will grow its seat count to those markets through a combination of additional frequencies and larger planes. So get on it to my fellow skiers. Time to book those winter vacations. All right, we want to show you a live look at the numbers from Wall Street this morning. The Dow has been struggling over the last day and a half since that North Korean announcement from President Trump. Tensions very much heating up internationally. Numbers have been down, but right now you can see the Dow's currently down about 127 points below the 22,000 mark. This was the first time in a string of 10 days that we have seen the Dow dip below that number, so certainly something we'll keep an eye on before markets close this afternoon. And we live in an age of smart devices, smartphones, smart cars. How about now, smart houses? What about an entire smart neighborhood? There's one being built in Southern California. Reporter Brandy Hitt gives us a look at Silicon Beach. Very, very cool. I know with technology and everything else starting to really ramp up, we're probably going to see things 10 years from now that we haven't even thought of. Brandy Hitt reporting. All right, we have some good news this morning in the weather world. The first hurricane of the season has weakened as it made landfall. The other good news, we might be going back to the 80s here in the valley. Rob's going to tell us when this great news could be coming up. 18 minutes after the hour now, new this morning, Hurricane Franklin was downgraded to a tropical storm after it hit the eastern coast of Mexico. The wind weakened from 85 miles per hour to 70, so it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it was enough to bring it down to a tropical storm. There are still, though, a couple of concerns, and that includes flash flooding, mudslides, also other things that could happen in the region as a result of the flooding. Franklin is moving further inland over the mountains of central Mexico right now. So Rob Carlmark, he is our meteorologist who tracks things not only locally but internationally. What can we expect with the storm?
Okay, so what we're going to see here, two quick things I want to point out. This is the leftovers of Franklin moving through the mountains of Mexico. I don't worry too much about the category. That's related to wind. That matters, but it's all the other stuff like storm surge and rain. They could be looking at 30 inches of rain in the mountains of Mexico. Obviously, with that amount of rain in a short amount of time, you're looking at some mudslides and some issues, and then it all goes out to sea. The leftovers of that, all that moisture will drift out into the East Pacific, and it could kickstart maybe a couple more tropical systems. Maybe we might have Hova, we might have Kenneth, so some of those leftovers should start to move off to the north. You got to watch out for this one. This is the next one, Dina. Hurricane Harper. Just kidding. No, this is Harper. This is Bill Hudson, our producer, who's in the booth right now and in our ears, even off air. He finds a way. So happy birthday to Harper, 6 years old, and that looks like Legoland to me. I'm sure that was a good time.
That's like. Can we talk about? So last year, he pulled up the photo from last year to this year. Bill Harper is growing up fast, my friend. You're in trouble. He says far too fast.
Did you know it's Bring Your Daughter to Work Day every day next week?
Every day next week.
Yeah, cute.
Bring her
cute.
in.
He says sweet. All right.
Happy birthday,
we'll
Harper.
babysit. We don't mind. Okay, now look at this. Middle of summer, you're just waiting for that moment. Maybe you've got a big yard work project or something like that that you need to get after. You're going to have great weather to go along with that project. I'm thinking about you, Dina. I know you got a lot of stuff going on.
So I'm going
nice
to save this clip, send it to my husband, so that you've given us the green light. All the projects.
All of them.
All of the projects we need to do.
And here's the other thing. It's not going to last forever, so you just can't wait. You can't put it off
Get it
till
all
after
done,
lunch.
honey. Yeah, Rob said so. All right, Rob, thank you.
I'm in trouble.
I'll let him off the hook.
I'm in
I'll
trouble
just
by
have him,
everybody
I'll have him
today.
do like 4 or 5 of the projects, not all 10. All right, summer vacation is ending. Temperature-wise, it's starting to feel a little bit more like it's kind of cooling down, and it's time to get back into your routine. Many kids are returning to school this week. Unfortunately, that also means bullying is back in full force. We know teens can't go anywhere without their phones these days, and chances are parents don't really know what they're doing on those devices. We have a couple apps, though, that we want parents to know about to help make sure their kids are staying safe. So first of 3, we want to show you Net Nanny. This one can control your kids' internet activity remotely. You can choose certain websites you actually want to block from your kids' phones. You could also get a warning if the child types in a certain keyword like suicide. So if they are thinking about harming themselves in any way, if there is cyberbullying going on, that could certainly be one that you might want to look into. Also, Secure Teen. This one will track call logs. You can read text messages, block inappropriate content and apps, and then you can also know where they are. It tracks your location remotely. Finally, the third one we want to tell you about is Teen Safe. You can view text messages, calls, phone location as well, even the web history. If you have anything that you use, please share now on our Facebook page. I also heard Life 365 is another good one from one of our viewers, Pebbles, this morning on Facebook. All right, there was a rally monkey a few years back in Anaheim. It appears that the St. Louis Cardinals have their own good luck animal, and he is cute and furry. It is 11:26. Check out that blue sky over Sacramento right now. It is going to be a beautiful day, not too hot. Get out and enjoy it for your lunch hour. All right, we want to tell you one more story before we leave you today. A baseball game interrupted by a curious little kitty. Yes, Rob, tell us why the score is so important.
St. Louis is behind, bases loaded in the 6th. Cat on the field.
Bases loaded, okay? Look at this. They send the groundskeeper out, but oh, look at him. Look at his face. Oh! The cat scratches back.
Oh my
He's like, I don't want you to pick me up, dude. Put me down. So yeah, the Cardinals were playing, of course, with the Royals.
He says, oh, fudge.
Oh my goodness, we saw what his mouth did there. You're right, Rob Carlmark. So yeah, apparently this cat was like, hey, bud, I want to come join you. Left field's like, nah, I'm not going to touch it. Bring in the groundskeeper. But then what ends up happening? Home run. Home run after cat's on the field.
Most of the people that go to a baseball game are huge baseball fans, right?
Yes.
But there's a percentage.
Yeah.
It's going to be small that do not care about the game. This was their favorite
This
moment
was
of
the
the
thing,
game.
yes.
This is why they go.
You stand up for the 7th inning stretch and because the Cardinals end up winning. They're going to probably have a rally cat from now on.
Rally
don't you think?
cat. Exactly.
Zach and Co is
$29.95 plushes.